All right, future rookies, we're going to jump right into this. We're going to talk about helmets. So, Unit 3, Lesson 1, helmets. These are motorcycles, not helmets. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Come on now. That's a helmet. Here we go. So, rookies will be able to understand why the motorcycle helmet is the most important piece of equipment for riding a motorcycle. So, you're going to identify the types of helmets and know how to care for those helmets. Very important. There's different kinds, okay? This is a beautiful helmet. I miss it. I love it. There's my old DJI Phantom and then a Hero 4. Whoa, that was back in the day. So rookies will be able to learn the importance of motorcycle helmets. Pretty simple. Brain, helmet, how it should fit, the parts of it, the types of it, and how to care for the helmet. And the skills you're going to actually have when you leave this lesson, okay, is that you're going to be able to define each different part of the motorcycle helmet and the types of helmets. So if you go to a dealer or anywhere else, you're actually going to be like, that's a full face, that's a 3/4, that's a modular. You'll be able to do that yourself. You'll determine the best helmet for you, and then you'll be able to know how to clean and store the helmet properly. So protect what matters most to you. Traumatic brain injuries, I think I have one. Traumatic brain injuries are terrible. They can happen anywhere. A blow to the head, hitting your head on the ground. I've had a patient back in the day that tripped over a toolbox in his garage, fell backwards, hit the back of his head. Massive deficits, has to live in a nursing facility, and he's young. Can happen anywhere. So we're on a motorcycle, protect it. See, this is a different GoPro. Interesting. So it's important to choose your equipment wisely over trying to save a couple bucks. Okay, so you're like, well, I'm going to just go on Amazon or eBay and just get something used or get something cheap. It might not have the abrasion resistance as needed, and that's more for gloves and jackets and everything, but helmets too. You don't want to buy a used helmet off of Craigslist. It could have been in a crash, and we're going to talk about how to look for that kind of stuff, but don't try to save too much. There's definitely deals out there, but make sure it follows the standards like we talked about at the beginning of this. Okay, DOT or ECE minimum. Okay. So a helmet. Your helmet is the most important and most identifying piece of your gear. Your helmet, especially if it's white, it's bobbing around in traffic, easy to see. They're not going to see what color boots you have or gloves you have until they're super close. That helmet is very visible. So while you might want to purchase a helmet with a color scheme or design that is aesthetically appealing to you, the primary factor of your choice in helmets must be protection. Okay. And we're going to get into that because I used to wear 3/4 helmets because they looked amazing until I figured it out. So look for the DOT sticker or ECE in Europe. Those are the minimums to ensure your helmet meets minimum standards for protection. Anyways, a helmet should be comfortable but snug. And too tight will cause problems. You're going to have problems on the crown of your forehead or on the sides of your forehead. It's going to give you a headache, which is going to cause you to not think about the ride. And you're going to start to zone out. All right, so in the event of a crash, a loose helmet could be knocked off your head entirely, especially if you don't have that retention system. And then on long rides, like I said, a tight helmet will cause headaches or pressure sores. Not good, not good. So parts of the helmet. Helmets are made of 4 main parts: a shell, impact-absorbing lining, comfort padding, and a retention system, okay? You got to get the beard out of the way for that. All right, here we go. Helmet anatomy. So the comfort padding is this stuff right here. It's nice and easy. That's stuff you can usually take out depending on the type of helmet you have, and you can clean it. The high-quality shell is going to be the outside of it. So you could have scratches here and there, but it's that nice hard plastic. The impact absorbing liner, that's going to be this stuff right here all the way up in there. That's usually polystyrene, styrofoam type stuff, okay? The comfort padding, once again, you have the ventilation and then chin protection. We haven't talked about the retention system, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So if you're involved in an accident at any speed, it is imperative that you have your helmet inspected for damage, although it would probably be smart just to replace it entirely. You can scratch the outer shell. You can maybe even get a little bit of a gouge, but you can scratch it, scuff it, all that stuff. It's the inside, the interior liner. Let's go back one page right here. It's this right here, the impact absorbing liner. If you see cracks in this, no buenos. You could have a crack on here, but not out here, and you wouldn't know. So that's where we get into the problem of maybe we should just replace it, especially if it's a hard impact. So a crash like this, if he hit his head and hit the ground, replace it. It sucks. It really does, because it could have been your favorite helmet. It could have been expensive. Could have been just brand new. You're going to want to replace it. You don't want to take that chance, because if that polystyrene on the inside or whatever that impact absorbing material is, right? If that is broken, it's not going to be effective the next time it's in a crash. You want it to be effective every single time. So helmets are lined with a series of specially engineered foam layers directly beneath the shell. And that's what we kind of talked about here with the impact absorption lining. So the more kinetic energy can be dispersed, the less likely you are to sustain localized impact injury. So it's going to absorb that impact and that force as best as it possibly can. You're still going to get some transmitted to your brain, but the goal is to not have it all transmitted to your brain. Okay. Once again, impact absorption lining, that's going to be this stuff right here, all the way across. Where'd my hand go? The helmet padding. So that's going to be primarily for comfort. Okay, it's padding. I need some. I don't have any hair to pad anything, so I need to have some good stuff. So many helmets are designed for the padding to be removed, which is great. That's a feature I always look for in a helmet, so I can pull it out, wash it, and put it back in. Because if it's stuck in there, have fun washing that. You're just going to spray it with disinfectant, and that doesn't always work. Okay, especially when you have like grease and dirt. Ugh. Anyways, helmet padding. That's going to go all the way around to the front. Sometimes you get it on the right on the chin, but it's mainly on the cheeks, and then it's going to be up on the top. Okay, so sometimes this is removable. Really cool stuff. I'm glad they do that. So retention system, that's going to be that D-ring or the ratcheting system or whatever it is, the magnetic system that is going to keep your helmet. Now, I know my beard's in the way. Let's go ahead and do this. So it's going to be right up in there. A little strap that keeps the helmet on, okay? Make sure you put it on before you ride. What I like to do when I get on the bike and I do my last part of my pre-ride check, because I'm not going yet, I go like this. I open my mouth because it's going to push against that retention system underneath my jaw. And if I don't feel it, and if it's like super loose, I know it's loose because I don't want to be able to do that without feeling it. So I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. I still want to be able to open my mouth and breathe, but I also want to know it's there. So find that comfort area, but don't make it super loose. And it's a great way to check if it's even there, okay? Make sure the helmet you choose has a system you're confident in. I like the D-rings. D-rings, ratchet systems are cool too. There's a bunch of different systems out there, but D-rings are the standard for a reason. They're pretty easy to understand and do. So there it is. There's that D-ring. So there's the strap. You put it through the D-ring. You tighten it up. Follow the manual that it has with your helmet, depending on what it is, and make sure it's nice and secure so it doesn't fly off in the event of a crash. So types of helmets, in order from the most protective to the least protective, here we go. Full face, modular, 3/4, half helmets. And then you have no helmets under there. It's clear. You can't see it because the person is not here anymore because they crashed without a helmet. Anyways, there are many different types of helmets on the market, but it's important to remember that not all helmets are created equal. Very important. Just because you have a full face here, this one might be made out of nothing important, and this one might be the top of the line racing helmet. Full face helmets, look at that, scratch right on the face. Imagine that, huh? So these helmets cover your full head and face to provide the most protection for your head by far. So you want to protect everything, not just your head, but your face. You got an airway right there. An integrated and interchangeable visor will protect your face without restricting vision. So some full face helmets, most full face helmets, especially street helmets, have a visor system like this. Dirt, off-road usually use goggles. Okay, but they have that chin bar, which makes it a full face. So visors or face shields provide protection from sun, rain, and debris, bugs, and everything like that. Okay, poking your own eye. So right here, modular helmets. These are actually pretty safe. They're the second they're the second level from full face helmets, but they're actually really good. You don't want to ride with it up though. Ride with it always down. Okay, only put it up like at stoplights so you can take a drink, especially if you're on a long ride and you have a water system. You can take a quick drink, put it back down. Okay, or if you get claustrophobic, you might want to just pull off to the side, lift it up so you don't have to take the full helmet off. Breathe. It's good exposure training. So these helmets have an adjustable chin bar that can be moved towards the top of the head while the rider is stopped. See, stopped. You see that little? Let's go ahead and make myself bigger. This little red button. So usually red means actuation in anything. So you got a red button there. You got a little red thing down there on the chin strap. That's where the button clasps. But that usually push it in and it moves it up. Okay. All right. So 3/4 helmet's a 3/4 style helmet. That's me. So this is what I'm talking about here. It looks cool. I looked cool. I didn't have a beard. So I've got a beard. Now I look cooler and I have a full face. Anyways, 3/4 style helmet offers the same protection as a full face helmet minus the chin bar that would protect your neck and chin, which is very important because I guess there's like veins and the jugular and you got aortas and you got a windpipe. Kind of want to protect that. So it is advisable to wear goggles and face masks. Environmental elements like wind, rain, debris, insects are concerned with this design. So at least I'm wearing eye protection. You notice how my face is fully exposed. If I go face first into anything, it's gone. Don't recommend these. I just don't. Full face for me all the way. But if you need it like this, once again, that's a 3/4 helmet when it's up. Just keep it down, put it up when you don't need it, right? You know, stoplight, stop sign, drinking water. Okay. Whew. Half helmet, dumb. Brain buckets, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's not going to do much. It doesn't even protect the back of your head. It doesn't protect the face. It's like if you go into a crash, you're supposed to land on top of your head and do some spins, okay, like we're breakdancing. No, it doesn't do much, okay? So these helmets provide the least protection by far. Not only do these helmets leave your head, neck exposed because the straps are also exposed, and you got to think about that. Imagine hitting the side, it rips your strap off, now your helmet's gone. No, also your face. They're all more likely to come off in the event of a crash. These helmets must also be worn in conjunction with eye, face, neck, and hearing protection are highly discouraged. And that's the other thing. At least I had some hearing protection here. At least some hearing protection. Nothing here. So now you have to wear something that doesn't do anything. You have to wear glasses and hearing protection. And maybe your face gets cold, so you got to wear a neck gaiter. Just don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Okay? So this is more of an off-road thing. So like I said, they wear full face helmets, right? That's even a neck protector right there. Cervical neck protector with some goggles. So make sure to follow the owner's manual that came with your helmet. Very important. It sounds like a cop-out when it's like, look at your owner's manual for your chain. Look at your owner's manual for the fluids. Look at your owner's manual for your helmet. The thing is, a bunch of different manufacturers recommend different things. So I don't know what you're getting, but some people recommend not using soap at all. Some say it's okay to use soap. It's usually okay to use soap, mild soap, warm water. That's typically going to solve a lot of problems. But they're also going to say don't use bleach, don't use this, don't use that, because there's some stuff inside cleaning materials that could damage the polystyrene foam. And that's why it's very important to follow the owner's manual. Okay? So fabric softener, for instance, is terrible for aramid fibers like Kevlar. So we'll talk more about that in the next lesson. So if your helmet falls off your bike and lands poorly, it can cause damage to the helmet that could have otherwise been easily prevented. Even a small drop could crack the shell. It can, but remember, the main thing here is that impact absorption liner. So here's a really big important thing, okay? So helmets should be replaced 5 years after the purchase date or 7 years after the production date. The production date is the sticker inside the helmet under the padding, usually near the ear. So if you bought a helmet and it says 2021, if you never wore it and it's just sitting there, it's going to dry rot just like tires and all that stuff. But usually it needs to be replaced 7 years if you never wore it. If you do wear it, like I said, the oils in your hair, you might get dirt and grime, maybe the conditioner you use, it starts to deteriorate just a little bit, but over the course of 5 years, could be enough to where it's like, okay, it's time to replace it. I always replace after 5 years. So if you buy a $500 helmet and you never crash in it, hopefully, that means you're spending $100 a year on protecting your brain. That's cheap. That's how I look at it. Helmets are very, very important, okay? And I know we don't have any pizza, we don't have any donuts right now. We're cleaning up a little bit here. The main thing here is make sure you get a full face helmet. That's what I'm going to say. Just get a full face helmet. Full face helmets will naturally be the best helmets for protection. Okay, remember, we have that outer shell on all helmets. We have the polystyrene foam on all helmets. Just half helmets have half of it. The comfort padding on all helmets. And then we also have the retention system. So make sure your helmet has all that. But also make sure everything like that is in working condition. Okay, if your strap on your retention system is kind of cut a little bit, if you can replace it, but more than likely you're going to have to replace the helmet. If you have a massive gouge in your shell and you can see the polystyrene foam underneath and it looks kind of damaged, time to replace that helmet. You got into a crash, replace that helmet. You need to wash your inner lining, the comfort padding and everything. If you can take it out, please do so. Don't put it in the washing machine. It wasn't discussed earlier, but don't put it in the washing machine. Hand wash. Hand wash everything, okay? Don't use harsh materials or any stuff like that. Use mild soap. So just easy soap. It could just be a normal soap bar if you need to. And then warm water. And then a little bit of agitation with your hands. Don't go crazy, okay? The goal is just to get the little bit of dirt, the oils out of there. You shouldn't be putting your helmet on if your head is full of dirt. Okay, take a shower. Okay, you gross rookies, I swear. But the shower is out that way. Go ahead and take a shower. I know some of you guys need it.